Good evening and welcome to this slightly scrappy round of the House of Esports F1 2023 League. This is Season 4 that we are currently in, and we will be heading to the Shanghai International Circuit. Yeah, it's been a little bit scrappy because load shedding just completely fries the brain, and I forgot half the things I needed to set up, so I've been scrambling to get everything up and running. We've got 18 players on the grid, and I'm sure we're going to see some decent racing around this track. Obviously quite a technical track, especially with the first and the 12th corner, or 13th corner. It's a combo of 12th and 13th. The first corner is actually a combo of 1 and 2, and then it immediately into 3 and 4, which is another combo corner that can catch people out. So yeah, it should be an interesting run around this track, and I'm sure we're going to see some incredible driving by the guys, and maybe see some crashes, maybe see some less than incredible stuff, but that is part of what makes the sport so fun to watch. So yeah, I think I have everything up and running, so I am going to swap across to the stream now. Apologies for the darkness. We are load shedding here, so things might be working that, or showing that aren't normally showing, or not showing that are normally showing, and so on. So yeah, it might be a little weird tonight, just because of the load shedding. You can see it's not rendering my shirt or anything like that because it doesn't know it's there. So yeah, that is one of those unfortunate things with load shedding, but the guys should be heading out shortly. Just doing a quick check of everyone's settings. It looks like almost everyone is running the correct telemetry settings. I'm just going to send a message to one person quickly. When I remember which keyboard I'm supposed to be on. Let's just have a look and see. So Mystic Muchwind is heading out first. Gokes is heading up behind him, and the Gottlieb is leaving the pits. Oh, Gottlieb is actually almost finished with his outlap. No, that's not Gottlieb. Oh, that's Mystic. Okay, cool. So already going through turn 12 at the moment and going into this long right-hander of 13, which can catch people out so incredibly quickly. So we'll see how the guys do on this track. But yeah, just trying to deal with someone's telemetry issues quickly, and then we'll get to commentating what goes on. So, Mystic coming through the basically the setup for the last couple of corners. That is 2 corners there, 14 and 15, another compound corner through 16, and down the pit straight. Not as long as it looks. It does look like a long straight, but it doesn't feel it when you're actually in the car, and off he goes down. Oh, and that is contact with the Aston Martin, which really should not have been there. So that is, I imagine that's going to be investigated after the race. But yeah, unfortunate there, Aston Martin on the racing line. And which one is that, in fact? Is it Me Power? I do believe it is indeed Me Power. So that's really going to be unfortunate, possibly an issue already. Not even on a full lap yet. And we can see another of the Aston Martins. So Fervid also getting in the way of that fast lap, in a little bit of a worse position. Not really much he could do to get out of the way more than he was. Maybe shouldn't have slowed down as much. Oh, and Mystic has a spin, and unfortunately just pushing a little bit hard. And with the issues he had with those cars on track, I wouldn't be surprised if that threw him off. Marsh collision with Dupi and gets a 5-place grid penalty. That's unusual. Corsair has left the session. That's less unusual. His internet connection seems to be up to its usual tricks, so we'll probably be able to re-invite him shortly. But Marsh currently out there and on track, going for a no, not quite shirtless, topless, in fact. So yeah, basically my entire top half is not rendering. Because of the fact that it is dark and it is a black shirt. So yeah, no, I'm definitely not shirtless. Thank you, Kit, for the hydrate. But yeah, so far not going too well. Marsh with a little bit of a spin on his lap as well. Didn't entirely see what caused it. who is still on a lap. So Mystic finishes his first lap at 152.6. That's definitely not representative. Just looking around, Keycracker is not on a lap, I don't think, not unless the telemetry is very wrong. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Borak is he in the pits? He's in the pits, so that is accurate. Goak's getting the first representative lap of the run. 1:33.742. So I'm sure we're going to see the time come down even further. Keycracker now heading down. Okay, it looks like his HUD is not displaying as well, so I do need to chat to him and ask him to just double check his telemetry settings, because I think they might be slightly incorrect. Italian Legend at 1:33.2, so 5/10 quicker than Gokes. Let's just change that to gap, because that is much more interesting to all of us. As Keycracker comes through, his ERS light is flashing, so he definitely has to double check his telemetry settings. So let me just drop a message there. Alrighty, so yeah, a couple of people needing to. Ooh, someone, Azure, has gone through to the top of the time with a 1:30.933, 2.3 seconds ahead already. So that is a great lap there by Azure. Corsair now going out on in the other Red Bull, subbing in for Humid tonight, who was injured at the last moment. He has some sort of foot injury, which does not lend itself to being able to drive. So yeah, hopefully he recovers nice and quickly. But yeah, Dupiana. So that's the second time Dupiana has come up in with regards to contact with other people. So yeah, that's a little bit unfortunate for those guys that did have contact with Dupi. And we'll see. No, that's not where we need to go. We need to go into Race Director, and because it's not the end of the session, I'm sure I'll be able to get out of the Race Director. So, Dupiana collision with Marsh. Marsh getting penalty for that as well. And then now with a collision with Jumping Jack as well. So, yeah, that's not great to see, and I'm sure. And also with a penalty for cross the pit lane exit white line. So, that is not good to see so many incidents in a single session. It can lead to an investigation into whether it is you are allowed to stay in the league. So yeah, that's not a great way to start, and unfortunately we will have to investigate the racing standards there. So as we see Corsair going through at the moment, let's just double check. He is still on lap first sector, not doing the greatest of things, but definitely is in the running. Actually, I lie. He's only 7/100ths of a second off of Azure in the first sector. Now goes through it's the second sector and puts the time on the board, 27.486 compared to Corsair's 27.190. So about 3/10 lost in that second sector. Jumping Jack has retired from the session and has left the session as well. Not entirely sure why that would be. A little bit of a ping from my watch. I have turned that off. So sorry about that little chime in your ears. But yeah, Corsair coming to the end of the session. He is about 3.5 down on Azure at the moment. Let's see what he can do in the final sector. Has he managed to do something down that ridiculously long straight? Comes through the final corner, takes a nice amount of curb on the exit, crosses the line up into second place, gets the fastest third sector of anyone, but only managed to make up about 2/100ths of a second, so nothing massive in that third sector, as you're still definitely out in front, and that is going to be good for Azure, good for Red Bull in general, the two Red Bulls out in front. I'm sure we're all sick of seeing that already. Me Power has now retired from the session, and Dupiana as well. What on earth is going on? So Dupiana, a third incident. Sorry, I'm just checking one of the telemetry things. But Dupiana, a third incident already where he has had contact with someone else. And yeah, I think that is definitely going to be a situation where we're going to need to reevaluate the racing standards of some of our drivers, because that's just a little bit ridiculous. I'm not entirely sure what happened there. Once again, Aston Martin involved. So yeah, it looks like we're going to have to keep an eye on a couple of things, try and watch the replays and see whether we can pick something up on the maps and so on as well, just to see what exactly happened there. Sorry, I have been neglecting you, chat. Apologies for that. Bennett, what race is after China? I will have to double check. KQ, yes, traffic is ridiculous, as I've been mentioning. Are you even? Yes, there we go. As I was about to ask, are you even in the session? And across the line you go with a third place, a 7/10, 8/10 off. Bennis, what happened to Demo? Not entirely sure. I think he might have load shedding. I can't remember. I haven't actually been keeping track of comms outside of just a couple of the admin groups, just because I've been focused on what's been going on with the load shedding and everything, trying to remember everything that goes into this, and failing to a certain extent, but at least I managed to get everything up and running. So yeah, Demo, unfortunately not here at the moment. And I see a prediction has popped up, and Azure is currently the safe choice, I feel, and I'm going to vote for him as well. There we go. Oh, awesome. Thank you, Bennett. Yeah, as I said, I think it's load shedding or something along those lines. So hopefully he manages to join us for next week. Obviously, next week we'll be back on a Tuesday. So as we stand, Azir out in front. He is actually on a lap, so we'll follow him around. Corsair in the second, KQ Microstatic in third. Wormpuzzle fourth. Marsh out in fifth position in the Alpine. He is subbing in tonight, or has taken that Alpine seat. The way we're doing it this week, we are basically rotating people through, depending on who has checked in and who hasn't, just to try and keep things a little bit more full than it was last season. It does mean that people who check in early will have an advantage in the championship, and that's actually a good thing. Azure with a massive snap there, uncharacteristic snap through turn 11 for Azure, and he has actually backed out of that lap, it looks like. Is he? No, maybe not. No, definitely has backed out, is not putting down full throttle. Jumping Jack has rejoined, and yeah, that's unfortunate for Azure. A snap through turn 11, leading to him having to back out of that lap. So Corsair on an out lap as well at the moment. We will actually follow him around on his next lap. Why does the game insist on putting us on board with this ridiculously loud noise? If anyone does ever figure out how to turn down the onboard audio, please let me know, because I'd love to be able to do it. Anyway, Corsair, currently on an outlap, going through 11 and 12. Hopefully doesn't get in the way of the Alpine behind. Pulls to the inside. The Alpine should be, that isn't an Alpine, that is a Williams, so apologies for the misreading of the ever so slightly different blue. Corsair going ridiculously slowly, now on the racing line, needs to get moving, possibly just trying to allow himself a gap ahead. No, there's something going on. Ooh, he is going to be... Okay, that was close. Luckily, not entirely in the way. He is now starting to warm his tires up. His tires have cooled down way too much, but we'll see what he can do as he warms his tires. Not the best way to warm your tires with the weaving, but he is doing well with the braking as well. So let's go on board with him and see how he does. Never mind, obviously he's found some sort of problem. So yeah, that was definitely, I'm not entirely sure what happened there. Went for an outlap, came straight back in, maybe just trying to avoid the commentator's curse that has been quite strong in the past. So yeah, Venom currently coming through. Is this a lap? It is not. I'm hoping that he is starting a lap, so let's go on board with him and see how he does. apparently it is the evening of... Oh, right, of course the game won't switch off on board. Let's go there. Okay, cool. Apparently it's the evening of just hopping into the pits when I go on board with someone, which is a little frustrating. But hopefully we will get an onboard lap at some point. That final corner is basically full speed and through that left. Yeah, it did look like hard lap, but not entirely sure. Obviously, either there was something wrong or otherwise they were just trying to get back to the pits as quickly as possible. 2.5 minutes left, so guys heading out at the moment are going to be trying to get out there with the last moments left of the session. Weasel, welcome. Thank you for the follow. So Zero currently out. He is out in front and he is getting ready. He is actually on an out lap at the moment. Corsair in second, KK Microstatic in third. KK Microstatic is going to be starting his lap shortly, and we missed his previous lap. To Keycracker, it is mostly working now. I think the last little bit will only actually click across in the race, but I have seen your settings, so they are correct. So yeah, if the game doesn't correct it or if the telemetry doesn't pick it up on my side, I think that might just be because of the way the sessions work. Gottlieb has retired from the session. Okay, so KQ Microstatic currently coming through the final couple of corners. Let's go on board before the final corner so we can see how it goes and see how he takes the lap. So nice and quick across to the left hand side. I'm going to lean closer to the microphone so that you guys can hear me, and then all the way to the left hand side, hits an early apex through the first corner, lets himself drift out wide, and then has to pull it back to the tightening of the apex immediately into turn 3, which is this left-hander, and 4, which is that kink, and now you're full speed all the way down through 5. You don't even actually lift for 5, and then you have to throw yourself into 6, a massive braking zone, one of the potential passing positions on the track. It is a difficult pass, but it is something that is possible to do. And now into the long left-hander of 7, a slightly tighter right-hander of 8, looks like a little bit of the rear sliding there. Now through 9 and 10, double left-hander, and just a little bit too much power through there. Somehow hasn't invalidated the lap, so I'm sure he will keep going, and he does indeed keep going. And now into the next corner, 11 and then 12, which is another one of these weird corners. This one actually opens up a little bit, and once again losing the rear end a little bit. So the rear end of this McLaren not entirely happy to stay under him. Currently, let's see, so 29, so he lost about 2 seconds in that middle sector. Unfortunately, that is going to mean his lap is not going to be able to do anything. He is braking quite hard and has missed the start-finish straight. So apparently tonight is not a good night to ride on board with people, because they somehow it seems to just kill everyone. So this one wasn't a situation where they went into the pits. This one was a situation where they lost it while I was on board, and I'm pretty sure everyone I've been on board with during this quali has lost it at some point. So and as you're there, just proving the point, a little bit of a lockup through the penultimate set of corners, 14 and 15, now through 16 and down towards the pit, the start finish line. And unfortunate there for quite a few people. I seem to be particularly cursed tonight. Azure, despite that little lockup that we saw, getting an even faster lap. Corsair coming across the line does not improve his time, 5 thousandths of a second lost, but also does have an invalidation there. Worm Puzzle goes up into third place, so a good lap at the end to get through into third place. Pushes KK Microstatic down into fourth. Marsh is still on his lap, heading down the straight. Looks like he is up on his previous time by a long way, 7/10 of a second that he has found. And let's see what he can do in this final couple of corners. Yes, I do believe telemetry is working. It does look like I can see your name and everything, so that, and I can see your ERS now as well. So the session has ended, and that has actually triggered the telemetry to work properly. Marsh stays in 5th place, 7/10 of a second gained, not enough to take that 4th position from KK Microstatic. Venom, Destroyer, Gokes, Italian Legend, and Warak are top 10, and then Gottlieb, Santa, Keycracker, Fervid Panda, and Chicken Wing top 15. Mystic Muchwind, Jumping Jack, Me Power, and Dupiana, the top 19. So, yeah, those three DNFs at the bottom, obviously needing a little bit of investigation. I'm not going to go across the race director because that breaks for some obscure reason. So that if anyone can actually take a picture of the race director, in fact, I think I should be able to go to the race director in the finishing screen as long as I get out of it quickly enough. Also, I'm not the lobby, I've just realized, so it shouldn't be a problem if I hop in there and quickly go have a look. So, Azure out in first, Corsair, Worm Puzzle, KK Mark Static, Marsh, Venom, Destroyer, Gokes, Italian Legend, and Warak, the top 10, and then Gottlieb, Santa, Geekracker, Feather Panda, Chicken Wing, Mystic Muchwind, Jumping Jack, and Me Power and Dupiana. So let's quickly go across here. A couple of people using many sets of tires. Incidents for days. Mostly in the last corner, it looks like, as far as track limits are concerned, that would have been really difficult to get right. Marsh getting a 5 position penalty for that contact in the session. Unfortunately, not something that we can remove. We have discussed this before, and it is something that does unfortunately need to be just accepted and dealt with. So Marsh has a lot to do in this race. Yeah, that's unfortunate on Demo's side, but yeah, as I said, the championship is quite open just because of the fact that we do have a situation. Sorry, I'm just noticing something's not actually displaying on my screen, and I'm hoping that is not a crash that's happened anyway. I will see shortly, hopefully. Yeah, but Demo, yeah, hopefully, as I said, if you sign in early, you can have an advantage because I mean, if one of the faster guys leading the championship signs in a little bit too late, they might not have a seat for the race. So it does add a little bit of jeopardy. Gottlieb requested an invite. Let's see if I can send him an invite quickly. Gottlieb has been sent an invite. Let's see if he can join before the race starts, and without breaking anything, we'll see what happens. Alrighty, so waiting for players. I do believe that, okay, there we go. The red lights heading on 5 red lights. Gottlieb has rejoined. And away we will go, and a couple of people getting away incredibly slowly there, but it does look like everyone has managed to get away. Yellow flag in the first sector. I don't think that's going to be anything to worry about. Everyone seems to be getting through the first corner all right, and we'll go head back and see if everyone at the back does indeed. And it looks like we're nice and clean through the first corner. So a couple movements out in front. Corsair managing to get through on Azure. KK Marcus Static holding onto that, getting into third place. Worm Puzzle losing it to the McLaren as they head through turn number 6, I do believe that is, and KK Static really fighting hard to try and keep that position. Now will be on the outside of 7, but the inside of 8, and then will have an advantage through 9 and 10 because he'll be able to take a little bit more speed through it. And unfortunately, Worm Puzzle again losing back end a little bit. Looked like Italian Legend. I thought about a move there for a moment, has not gone for it, but it looks like the start has been nice and clean. Corsair out in front, a little bit of lag for someone there. I didn't see who that was, but Corsair out in front is 0 in second. KK Mark Static up into third place, and let's just go to detail and we can see that climb there by KQ. Looks like my little telemetry thing has popped up on my screen. What is the time actually? It is, okay, not 9 o'clock yet. So Corsair and Azure fighting their way down the straight. You can see Worm Puzzle, Italian Legend, and KK Mark Static just behind them, and you can see the field is incredibly close. This long straight does lend itself to passes at the end of it, and you can see the action all the way up and down the track. KK Marcus that are looking on the outside of Corsair, goes a little bit wide, of Azure, sorry, goes a little bit wide there. Corsair gets the fastest lap of the race, as it is the first lap of the race, and Azure doesn't look entirely comfortable in that Red Bull. Oh, goes the Italian Legend jumps to the inside in that Alpha Tauri, almost out of nowhere. May have caught KK Marcus a little bit by surprise. A tiny bit of contact there with the front wing. Is there any damage? No damage there, so just a little bit of cosmetic contact. But yeah, great racing here by Italian Legend, and KK Marcus losing a position back where he started. Italian Legend's up 5 positions, so obviously had a pretty terrible qualifying, as we have a yellow flag. That is, I do believe it is no, it's not Warrack, it is Jumping Jack, bringing out the yellow flag around turn 6. It looks like he's gotten going again, and we've got Mystic going very slowly as well. So yeah, Corsair out in front, Azure is just 4 tenths behind. It looks like he is catching a little bit. Italian Legend showing some incredible pace in that Alpha Tauri, and that brings up the question of tires, and you can see exactly why. Italian Legend on the soft tires. Muzz, welcome, welcome, welcome. It is great to see you here. It's been forever since I've actually seen you sort of on Twitch anywhere. So Corsair out in front, and as I say that, Azure goes to the inside, gets the move done. Will Corsair manage to switch back? He does not manage to get the overspeed before the final corner, so he will have to be relegated down into second place. And as we say that, we will get onto our normal telemetry, so please hold for a second as it loads, and there we go. So Corsair now out in front, Azure in second. Oh, and that is about to change once again as Corsair tries to fight his way around the outside. It becomes the inside of turn 2 and 3. Is that a moment? It is not. So they are heading through. Yeah, well, thanks for joining us. Yeah, so there we go. Azure out in front, Corsair now in second, Italian Legend in third, Keiko Static still running in fourth place with Worm Puzzle not far behind him. Then we have Venom, Marsh, Gokes, Warwick and Destroyer, our top 10, and then Santa, Gottlieb, Keycracker, Jumping Jack, Fervid Panda, our top 15, and finally Chicken Wing, Me Power, Dupiana, and Muchwind, our top 19. So great racing so far, lots of changes all over the place. And speaking of lots of changes, it looks like Gottlieb is going to be trying to move on. The Alpine of Santa goes for the inside. Nice, clean move, but unfortunately Santa just carrying a little bit too much space through there, and contact between the two of them. Does that lead to damage? Santa did pick up a little bit of damage there, but looking up at my screens, I saw that is Italian Legend going very slowly through that corner. Does lead to some contact with Corsair. So Italian Legend getting through on Corsair, a little bit of contact as they went through there. Keiko Marcus that very close there as well, avoiding contact. But yeah, as I was saying, I looked up to check for damage on the front wings, and I saw damage on Chicken Wing, which was not what I was expecting. Keiko Marcus getting through on Italian Legend as Italian Legend lifts to avoid contact with Corsair. So yeah, great racing by these guys out in front. Corsair now 1.2 seconds back from Azure, which will not be helping him, and you can see Keiko Marcus deciding to go around the outside. Will he manage to keep the position through 6? Outside of 6, not the greatest place to try and keep it there, but he does manage to keep his foot in. He will have the inside of 7, has to get ahead far enough that he will keep it through 8, but I don't think he's going to. Now into 8, Corsair is on the inside. This tightens up. Corsair has a little bit of a twitch into Keiko Marcus. Keiko Marcus keeps the position through 9 and 10, just about enough space on the outside there. Great racing there, very respectful racing by Keiko Marcus. That was absolutely incredible to watch, and he's now up into second position. Corsair right behind him, but this is the situation with this racetrack. With this incredibly long DRS, incredibly long straight in general, the incredibly long DRS, which is going to open right about now, it is incredibly difficult to try and defend down here as Worm Puzzle goes through as well on Italian Legend, and Keiko Marcus leaving this turn in later to try and get the cutback. Does it work? It looks like he is nicely alongside Corsair. Does he manage to keep it around the outside? He does not. He tucks in behind again. Very good racing indeed. And now he'll have DRS down this pit straight. And as I said, it doesn't feel as long as it does as it looks, but Keiko Marcus making the most of it. Going a little bit wide, got a little bit onto the grass there, and unfortunately loses the car through turn number 1, and that, turn number 2. That is really unfortunate, but It's not going to make much of a difference. Keycracker has retired from the session. Let's go see. Unfortunately, that is really unfortunate for Keycracker. We've got one of, I think that is Chicken Wing, going into the pits to get rid of his medium tires. A little bit of an odd decision there. So this works quite nicely for drive-through penalty for jumping Jack for speeding under the safety car. This works quite nicely for, if I can press the right button, Italian Legend, who is on the soft tires. He should be able to pit. It is 5 laps into the race. He should be able to pit and do... and this will actually work with his strategy. Obviously, the safety car hasn't caught anyone yet, although it is still quite close. The racing hasn't actually separated like we would expect to see it to do so. So not ideal, but definitely a cheaper pit stop than what he would otherwise have to go through. So it looks like most of the guys out of the back, Chicken Wing, Muchwind, and Duppy, all going onto the soft tires. Fervid Panda and Me Power, they were ahead of the crash, so they are still on their hard tires from the beginning of the race. Oh, and that was a dead stop by, who is that, Italian Legend, so it must have come a cropper with the Delta. Really unfortunate there. Okay, so let's see what happens here. So Azure and Corsair go straight on, Worm Puzzle goes straight on. Italian Legend does go into the pits as we expected, and it looks like pretty much everyone is going on. There is, I think that is Destroyer. We have power again. Mystic Muchwind gets a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety, speeding under the safety car. That's really unfortunate for him. So Azure, Corsair, Worm Puzzle, Marsh, Venom, Gox, Warrak, Cake and Microstatic, who had that spin just before the safety car came out, and I'm sure he's going to be quite happy with the fact that the safety car came out. I'm surprised he didn't switch strategy, although he is on the hard, so he's going to need to go quite long into the race to make that work. Also, not being blind. As you can see, I am wearing a shirt. It is not just my torso edited out because I am shirtless, although with the heat, I was tempted. So, yeah, anyway, Azure out in front, Corsair in second, Worm Puzzle in third. Marsh and Venom are top 5. Then it is Gox, Warrak, KQ Microstatic, Santa, and Jumping Jack, the top 10. Italian Legend with a pit stop already done, as well as Destroyer, top 12. And then it's Fervid Panda, Gottlieb, Me Power, Chicken Wing, Muchwind, and Duppy. I do believe those last 3 have also pit, as well as Gottlieb has actually pit as well. Prediction result is Azure. Thank you for selecting that. Yeah, KQ. Somehow you always end up having to fight your way through the grid. That move though, that so much good racing, and then to just tip the grass just that tiny little bit was just so unfortunate. So, because I want to curse some people, I apologize to whoever does indeed get cursed by this. Yeah, so for the next 10 minutes, oh, okay, that's apparently too long. For the next 10 minutes, the next prediction will be up. Does Italian Legend make it to the end of mediums? No, definitely not at this point. It's still very early in the race. And let's actually have a look at the medium tire wear. So let's see. I'm not going to go and make it too obvious, but the tire wear does seem to be quite high on the mediums. So although Italian, where is Italian Legend? He is there, tire 8-1. He could maybe do it if it's if if there's another safety car and he manages his tires, he can absolutely make it to the end. And I think that's what he's going for. If he does do that, um, so I'm just busy voting. There we go. Yeah, so Italian Legend, if he does manage his tires, he should be able to make it to the end, especially if there is another safety car. If there's no other safety car, then he might be struggling towards the end and risking a puncture. I'm just looking at his tire wear at the moment after a lap, and it looks like he is not doing too badly. 22 laps left to go. Yeah, he should be able to make it. He's not going to be able to push at the end, but he might be able to take advantage of those medium tires early. They are fresher than everyone else's, and this actually helps him. The safety cars. Okay, so yeah, there we go. Corsair has gotten a penalty for ignoring yellow flags, and in fact, I feel like he passed the safety car before it went past the pit lane exits entrance. So once again, Corsair going to need to be investigated after this race. But yeah, so Zero has stayed out front. Corsair has hopped into the pits. But yes, as I was saying, Italian Legend, looking at his tyre wear, even under the safety car, obviously that is less than what it would otherwise be. Looking at the tyre wear of the other medium runners, I think he might be able to get through to the end. He might not be able to fight as hard as he would like at the end, but because he has taken that pit stop early, it means that there is a good chance that whenever everyone else does have to go in for the pits, he will get a decent run out ahead and might be able to build enough of a gap to be able to keep him safe from the guys behind. Yes, definitely a gamble, definitely one that could work out. Hard to softs for Azure. I'm pretty much sure of it. Okay, so let's go on with Worm Puzzle and let's go on with Marsh as we wait for the restart. Worm Puzzle accelerating a little bit hard out there. Azure does appear to have gone. So let's see how they go through the final corner, carrying a nice amount of speed. Everyone has accelerated correctly and gone through there. And you can see going exactly where he did, where Azure did, has caused quite a bit of problems for a few people, and Marsh under massive pressure from Venom. The two Haas's actually suddenly up into 4th and 5th. I didn't even notice that. Venom currently on the hard tires. He is right on the back of Marsh. Will he be able to do anything? It does look like he's falling back a little bit already. But yeah, obviously the field nice and close together. Warrak in the Mercedes is behind Gokes. Looks like he is quite close there, but it's difficult to tell just after safety car restart. Italian Legend actually is looking quite interesting. Currently in 9th position, and looks like he's going to make a move on Jumping Jack. Does he manage to get it right? Not quite yet, and he is going to have to push as hard as he can, get through these cars as quickly as possible. Ferrari putting up his nose in the on the inside there. Destroyer deciding better of it, and I think for the best. But yeah, Italian Legend does have a lot of work to do. Oh, you can see the amount of extra grip he has there as he tries to go to the inside, breaks a little bit later, gets through, nice dive down the inside. Not a dive bomb, but just a good dive there. Italian Legend now through up into 8th position. That is going to be bad for Jumping Jack, because I think that has actually opened it up to the guys behind. Destroyer and KQ Microstatic. Oh, KQ Microstatic already currently sitting in 11th place, but already looks like he is quite close to the back of that Ferrari. Does seem... Oh, that is a virtual safety car, and why would that be? Oh, everyone having to slam on brakes because of the terrible way that the F1 game handles the virtual safety car. Santa's still carrying damage from earlier on. This would be because Mystic does not have a wing, and I see Dupiana also has a half a wing, so I think that might be why we have a virtual safety car. A couple of people with quite a bad wing damage, which is unfortunate. So, virtual safety car, obviously you can win or lose time through this, and it is quite difficult to... Ooh, that is a little bit of contact there for KQ Mark Static. And unfortunately, with a track like this, oh, there we go. The virtual safety car has ended. KQ Mark Static does look like he's lost a little bit of time to Destroyer ahead because he had to back out so hard in that second corner. But let's see what he can do as he goes through here. Italian Legend currently in 9th place, so 9th and 11th, the two guys that we expect to move through the field who were running up ahead. They need to get through this traffic as soon as possible. Otherwise, it's going to deteriorate their tires a little bit too quickly. They're not going to be able to run to the end, and that's going to be a problem for them. KQ Marcus Static is on the hard tires. He can push a little bit harder than Italian Legend. He does, so we'll actually be able to see quite nicely whether Italian has gone for the right strategy or if KQ has. Everyone voting that KQ will make it back into the top 5. Those hard tires just don't seem to be switching on at the moment, and we have contact there. I think that was contact. And we've got a little bit of a mess going on at the moment with these 4 cars here. Destroyer in 7th, Corsair in 8th, Italian Legend in 9th, and KQ Marcus in 10th. Corsair being incredibly opportunistic there to get through. KQ Marcus trying to follow him through, has indeed done exactly that. Destroyer trying to hold onto the position. Italian Legend has come off worse for there, but Destroyer has now dropped down into 10th place with those 3 fast cars going through there. Corsair has managed to make the most of it. 7th place, KQ Marcus again, 8th, Italian Legend in 9th. Really unfortunate there for Jumping Jack and Gokes. Looked like a little bit of contact there between, or going through turn 12. Really unfortunate for them, and we'll see. That looks like Jumping Jack going into the pits to get... and Me Power and Chicken Wing have had a massive collision going through turn 14. So, yeah, lots of incidents tonight, and if the incident report form isn't out somewhere that you guys can find it, please let me know or let us know, and we will make sure that it is posted before the actually tonight if possible. If you can, let us know if you can't find the incident report form for season 4, as we see Corsair going around the outside of 9 and 10. It is very narrow there. Oh, that is odd. The car on his inside just evaporated. Hopefully that was not contact. I'm sure if it was, it will be reported. But yeah, Corsair now up into 6th position. Gokes has left the session. Is that a retirement or a disconnect? I think that might be a disconnect, so we might see him request a re-invite. So KQ Mark Static and Italian Legend once again fighting down the straight. That actually may have been a let through by KQ Mark Static. They might be trying to catch up. Ooh, a massive lockup there for Destroyer. That's not going to help his tires or his race. So KQ Mark Static and Italian Legend, I wouldn't be surprised if they start working together to try and make their way up past Corsair. So they need to try and stay out of the corners side by side. As long as they're side by side, they will be losing time. As long as they're trying to run defensive lines, they will be losing time. So they need to work together. They need to not attack each other, them as well as Destroyer. Obviously, they are in a direct fight with Corsair. Destroyer possibly not, as Corsair gets along. What happened there? Oh, Venom has had a bit of a spin coming through turn number 4, and that is why a lot of the positions changed there. Corsair getting the position on Warak going through turn 6, and in the background, I think that was let's see, KQ Mark getting through on the Alpha Tauri of Venom. No, Italian Legend. So the two of them fighting once again. Keiko markers that are getting through there. And again, they need to be careful. They need to not lose too much time. Hey, Bankro, welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to have you back in the chat. So yeah, there are a couple of interesting strategy calls, a couple of interesting bits of racing going on. Italian Legend, Destroyer, and Keiko markers that are the closest on the field at the moment, so we'll stick with them. Especially since they do seem to be giving us some pretty good racing. Muchwind is showing as still having a drive-through penalty both on both my telemetries. Hopefully he does remember to serve that, otherwise he'll get a disqualification. As we see Keiko Markstatic and Italian Legend swapping places, trying, we're seeing a very good race by these two side by side through turn 16. Italian Legend goes a little bit wide, and that allows Destroyer to come into play as well. The Ferrari takes advantage, hops up into 7th place, and now through into turn 1 once again. They're going to need to just keep it clean through here, avoid any sort of contact, because you're braking and turning at the same time. The tires are at the very limit of their grip. Balls. Okay. So yeah, they are at the very limit of their grip when you're going through there, because you're braking and turning at the same time. So any little bit of contact does very much lead to an issue. So I see a, is that an Alpine? Where is the Alpine? And is it 9? It is not 9, it is the other one. Is that Chicken Wing? It is indeed. Oh, right, it's lapped Chicken Wing. Okay, cool. Back to this. I thought my telemetry was lying to me. I had. Oh, okay, so there we go. Muchwind is going into the pits. I had 2 dots on the map very close together. Venom does look like he is going to be able to make a move on Santa soon as well, so we'll keep an eye on these guys and then hop across to Venom and Santa. They are currently in 9th and 10th, and in fact they have actually swapped positions already, so Venom going for an optimistic move that he made work. And of course we can't see the action because the game has decided we're not allowed to choose our cameras. So currently, Keiko Markstatic in 6th position, 1 place short of the predicted 5th place that we all expect him to get into at the moment. Corsair and I do believe Marsh. No, that is not Corsair and Marsh. Oh, okay, not sure what's happening there. Warak and Keiko Markstatic going through turn 1 side by side. Keiko getting the inside line and getting through on Warak as a result. And we'll see how these guys do. Look like a little bit of a snap there by Destroyer, currently in 7th, but Italian Legend not close enough to take advantage. Looking at the ERS levels, these guys are fighting quite smart. They're not just dumping all of their ERS to try and get past each other. So it is a good race from a strategic point of view as well. Obviously, we do have different tire ages here. So something that I'm not taking into account just yet is Keiko Markstatic and Warak actually do have older tires. So do Azure, Wormpuzzle, and Marsh out in front. So let's actually go to our pit stops. Does this actually show us what we want to know? Yes, it does indeed. So as you can see, Azure, Wormpuzzle, Marsh, Keiko Markstatic, Warak, all with 0 pit stops. Corsair, Destroyer, and Italian Legend all have a pit stop under their belts. They have changed their tires, they have changed their tire compound. So those guys with 0 pit stops are still going to have to stop at some point. And that means that, well, you know, it is going to make a difference to the strategy itself, especially, oh, sorry, I just got rid of the thing entirely. But yeah, so that is going to be quite interesting. Let's go across to the leader view, and you can see if the pit lane, well, we have, is that Warak with a little bit of spin? It is indeed, so he's unfortunately dropped away from these guys. Hopefully that wasn't due to contact, and we have a Ferrari in the pits. That is Dupiana coming out of the pits now. But yeah, so that is going to be something to keep in mind. I think the pit stops here are quite long, so because it's on such a fast straight, I think the pit stop loss is sort of 25 to 30 seconds. So everywhere down to about Venom is sort of danger. So if I go to Azure, my predicted rejoin position is 7th. So that would put it at about 22nd. That is a generic one. I think that does count as 20 seconds that it works out there. So it puts him between Italian Legend and Warak. So those guys that have already pit, which let's go back to the pit stops. Those guys that have already pit, they are all going to end up ahead of Azure if that is actually correct. So something to keep in mind, Azure does need to come into the pits at some point. Welcome, Kickstar. Thank you for the follow. MePower has retired. Oh, no. That is tragic for all of us. Oh, no. Okay. And that'll be Azure going into the pits. Worm Puzzle going into the pits. I'm pretty sure that's going to be... Oh, wow. Okay. Mystic just got disqualified from the session for too many penalties. That's a new one. So, MePower with the retirement, bringing out the full safety car. Worm Puzzle out in front. 15 lap old tires. That is not going to be fun. He still has to pit at some point, I'm sure. We're 16 laps into the race, so yeah, he still has to pit at some point. The safety car will pick him up. That is going to be less than ideal. Dupiana gets a speeding out of the safety car penalty as well. So that's not going to be good for him. Chicken Wing gets a corner cutting penalty. So people are not having a good time with penalties tonight. Italian Legend, Chicken Wing now getting a speeding under the safety car as well. Italian Legend is in the pit, so that's why he is losing positions. He's gone onto the soft tires. 12 laps left to go. A couple of laps under the safety car. Not a bad shout. Just gonna check something quickly. So something that a couple of people have noticed is that a lot of people. So we noticed a while back that there was a little bit of an issue with the safety car where it didn't actually give you your delta when you are in certain situations, and we actually have started to suspect that it is actually the game itself with the way that it runs on the PS4, something to do with the PlayStation Network doesn't like integrating into the EA network. And so we have found that there's a whole bunch of weird little glitches and things that happen, especially on the PlayStation users. And that's why I was checking, because Chicken Wing obviously getting those speeding issues with under the safety car. There's a chance he's not actually getting told a delta and is just getting handed those penalties. He is on the PlayStation, and it's just interesting to see that correlation coming up. How's it, Project? Welcome to the chat. Good to have you with us. Yeah, so Worm Puzzle out in front, he still needs to pit. Let's actually go across to the pit stop graphic. So yeah, Worm Puzzle still has to pit. A couple of people have pit twice. In fact, all of the guys that we thought would go ahead have actually pit, because the safety car obviously breaks their strategy pretty much entirely. The only people not to pit yet are Worm Puzzle. At least I'm not last anymore. And I was about to say Worm Puzzle, and that is really unfortunate. So why has that happened? Chicken Wing having contact with Worm Puzzle. That shouldn't even really be possible, because Chicken Wing is miles down. I think he might even be a lap down from whoever he had contact with. Wait, actually, am I thinking? Did I read wrong there? Let's go to the race director, all the way down to the last lap. Is Duppy still in? I'm not 100% sure. He's gotten quite a few penalties, but I don't think he's been disqualified. No, he hasn't been disqualified. I don't know if he's still actually in the race. I didn't see if he... Yeah, severe collision with Worm Puzzle. That's very strange for Chicken Wing to get a penalty for colliding with Worm Puzzle, which shouldn't be possible. Duppy... I'm going to hope that he's not in, because what I'm seeing makes no sense. But he's not listed as AI. I guess let me show you guys what I'm seeing. Doopy is on wet tires, which I don't actually understand. Is there rain coming? There is rain coming. I didn't even know. Okay, so Duppy is on wet tires. I'm not sure. Oh, almost goes into the back of who is that even? Is that KQ Microstatic? It is indeed. So almost goes into the back of KQ. Very close there. But yeah, that was very close. So rain coming out. We have 12 laps left to go. And we've got a couple of people going into the pit. Oh, one person going to a couple of people going into the pits. They are probably going to be hopping. Oh no! Venom gets a penalty for collision with Morak. So many penalties, so many collisions. Really unfortunate. But we have rain coming. The light rain does look like it's going to hang around for a little bit of time. It will then complicate matters because do people go in for the intermediate tires? It's 11 laps left of the race. Venom has a completely broken front wing, so I imagine he may have clubbed into the back of Aurak going into the pits. I see a few people going onto the intermediate tires. I wonder if this is why Worm Puzzle stayed out. Chicken Wing getting a penalty for crossing the pit lane on the exit. There is no excuse for that. So yeah, I think the wet tires are not necessarily the best idea. I think they were also put on a little bit early because they are dying already. So yeah, will people go for the intermediates? There are everyone from 10th backwards, other than Jumping Jack. Jumping Jack hasn't gone for the medium for the intermediate tires. He's gone for the mediums, and Dupiana has gone for the wet, which, as I said, they've been chowed already. Safety car in this lap, so we'll see who has made the right decision very shortly. So obviously the safety car needs to make its way down the straight. It's not as fast as a Formula 1 car, so these guys do have to back up a little bit, and they are forced to back up by the game in order for the safety car to escape, which is less than ideal because it means that they are going to be sitting there while this rain continues to fall. With the rain falling, it does mean that well, it basically means that the track is going to reset to a large extent, and it looks like a couple of people are pushing their luck a little bit with with the nose to tail rule. It looks like they are incredibly close together, but that's absolutely fine as long as they're not overlapping all over the place. And Worm Puzzle leaving it as long as he possibly can. We saw Azure go just out of the final couple of corners. Worm Puzzle is on those incredibly old tires. Will he be able to make them work? Does he go right out of here? No, he does not. He is still holding on to the grid. And there we go. I think he's gone. And he goes into the pits. Okay, this is interesting. I'm not 100% sure what the idea is there. Azure now leads the way down to turn 1, and the two Ferraris in the background there close onto each other. Azure manages to get through there. It looks like the track is still mostly fine. KQ Microstatic has managed to make it back into the top 5, so that's good to see on his side, but he now has a fight to go. Taylor Legend on the soft tires. This is going to work really well for him because he's going to have soft tires. He's going to have a little bit of extra grip naturally, and those medium tires are going to struggle with the wet a lot quicker than those softs will. So we have a whole bunch of interesting bits and pieces going on. Italian Legend getting through on Destroyer as they go through turn 6, and he now needs to make up some time to get to these guys out in front. Marsh in second, Corsair in third, KQ Microstatic in 4th position. Then Italian Legend on the soft tires has to make up some time. We have a yellow flag, one of the Ferraris. I do believe that is Dupiana, considering... Yes, I do believe that is Dupiana. His tires look like they are a little bit overheated. A little bit of a spike there by Marsh, it looked like. But going through this corner, this is where I believe we're going to see people spin. So through turn 12 and into turn 13, I feel like we are going to see people spin. We can see that the rain is starting to come down a little bit harder. But as long as the rain doesn't actually settle on the track, it's not going to affect the tires too much. It looks like everyone is still making it through there as before. The track is starting to darken a little bit, and Azure still staying out. Will we see Marsh? Yes, indeed, we do see those guys. Oh, still staying out. A massive snap there, and I think I saw a little bit of spray come up from the curbing there. I'm not sure if that was actually spray, as we see Corsair go very aggressive to the inside, manages to get through very easily there, and now we're getting into the danger area of this rain. So let's have a look at the rain display again. So light rain still for a while, but it is starting to die down at the moment. So this is probably as bad as it's going to get as far as the falling rain is concerned, but that doesn't mean that it's going to be the worst condition for the track. You can see it does look like the wet is starting to settle just a little bit. Mystic Wind, thank you for the follow. Yeah, it does look like the track is starting to get a little bit greasy. The color is changing, the texture is changing a little bit. I don't think it's going to get wet enough for those intermediate tires to really come into play properly. So those guys going in for the wet. Oh, there it is. There is the change in texture, and you can see there's a very definite swap between what the track looks like when it is dry and what it looks like when it is wet.
You will not have the drink.
And having said that, I think Corsair just found out exactly how greasy the track is. He has lost the position to Marsh going through turn 12 and 13. So he is now going to have KQ Markstatic on his rear wing. But unfortunately, because the game just has decided...
Box now, box for hard. Stay out.
I'm sure a whole bunch of Ferrari fans just had flashbacks, and I have to wonder if the Hamilton fans will hear that and sort of go, is this a good idea? DRS is now enabled. Speaking of, is this a good idea? Okay, I don't see DRS open, but that might be because it was enabled after the DRS detection point, but that seems a little bit weird because the track is definitely still greasy. And the rain lights are still on. I don't know if that graphic is actually accurate because it doesn't make sense. A snap there for Corsair. So the track is still greasy. This track is still fairly wet. There's spray coming up all over the place. Race control saying DRS is enabled. I don't believe that is true. We'll see. We'll see. But I mean, these guys are skating around too much to go down the normal straights. There's no way they've got DRS. Surely not. Yeah, sure, absolutely. Like a lot about the Ferrari team is just broken. There's no way to say it. And Carlos seemed to be the only person who actually had any sort of a mind for strategy in that team. And he's a driver. Which...
No, negative.
Okay, let's see if the DRS opens as we go into... Oh my word, there's DRS. What? Oh my hat. Okay, so Corsair gets through with DRS in the wet, in a wet braking zone. This is just dumb. But it's going to be fun. I mean, I'm sure we'll see someone just fly off into the middle of nowhere. Yeah, that was quite interesting, Mystic. Unfortunate there for the many penalties, but yeah, unfortunately that is something that the game does. So it looks like the guys are starting to find a little bit of grip again on these medium tires. KQ Markstatic tries to go to the inside, loses the place once again to Marsh, but will be on the inside through 3 once again and does manage to keep the position this time through 4 and towards 5. Yes, absolutely. Everyone is a Ferrari fan in some way. It would be tragic if they left. Honestly, I don't like Ferrari. I've never liked Ferrari. I've always supported someone who directly opposes Ferrari if ever Ferrari is strong. But yeah, like everyone does accept or understand the fact that like Ferrari's been there from almost the beginning of the sport. And so, yeah, they have a special place on the grid. But I do believe they are treated way too well. Oh, a little bit of contact there between KQ Markstatic and Corsair. Both of them braking a little bit too late. And luckily, no real damage done there. Marsh goes to the inside of KQ Markstatic, gets through there. And I will keep an eye on this because... Okay, no, that's just not on. I am going to say that this is another investigation that needs to happen because what I just saw there was something that should never have happened. I can't remember if McLaren is the second oldest team currently running on the grid, or yeah, I don't know if it's McLaren or Williams. I can't remember which one it is. I think it might be McLaren. I think you might be right, and then I think Williams might be third. So yeah, interesting with regards to the history, but yeah, Ferrari have been there from I think the second race. Um, of the championship itself. The first race they weren't there, and Alfa Romeo were there. So yeah, Alfa Romeo, part of the original batch, obviously then left and then came back. We have a Ferrari spun. I think that is Dupiana. It is indeed unfortunate there for the Ferrari driver. So yeah, Marsh currently up into third place, Corsair in second, KQ Microstatic in fourth. But yeah, there is definitely going to be an investigation into something that I saw just now at the end of the race. It is something that is very clear in our rules, and if it is, if I like if we do evaluate that footage and it is found to have been contravened, there are going to be some fairly hefty penalties coming the way of some of the drivers. But anyway, heading down the back straight once again. Do we still have DRS? We do. So DRS is still enabled. KK Microstatic just out of range of it. Marsh and Corsair going through. And it does look like they are sticking into those positions. Marsh getting through on Corsair this time. Lotus does like this is one of the things. Didn't Renault buy Lotus? I can't remember if Renault bought Lotus or if that is Corsair getting back through on Marsh going down the inside, and a little bit of switch that back there by Marsh trying to do the same thing he did to KK Microstatic. I think Lotus became, well, I know Lotus became Renault. I don't know if Lotus was actually purchased by Renault and then it was just a name change, or what happened there. Obviously, Renault has gone through a couple of iterations. They did leave the sport though, so. Oh, right. I take it you're checking it on a wiki somewhere. Brabham was around for that long? I think that was before, like, I really started getting into Formula One, so yeah, I don't remember them that much. But yeah, okay, so back to the racing at hand. Corsair in second, Marsh in third position. KK Microstatic currently in fourth. Ooh, with a massive snap there coming through turn 10. Manages to keep hold of that McLaren, but just not close enough. Currently 1.078 seconds back. He just doesn't seem to be able to get within that DRS detection zone within a second, and that's really going to affect him because the guys out in front are very definitely slingshotting each other ahead. So they are trying to break away from KK Microstatic. KK Microstatic actually does have wing damage as well. Not entirely sure when that happened. But running with some fairly substantial wing damage. Marsh and Corsair, possibly a little bit of contact there, had a little bit of a wiggly moment coming out of 14 and 15. Through 16 now, they don't have that gap to KK Microstatic. KK Microstatic is going to be getting DRS once again as these two swap positions again. They are being chased by that McLaren, but the McLaren is going to have to be careful with that front wing damage. Though he does look like he's got some pretty good pace. He is keeping up quite nicely, and we have another safety car. What happened? I think that might be Dupiana with no wing. I don't think he's retired from the session, so I think that might just be a wing on this racing line. So this safety car is going to be out for like one lap. Red Bull in ninth. That's quite interesting. So this is going to be quite interesting. So because the safety car is only likely to be out for one lap, so they're going to be behind the safety car for a single lap. I'm pretty sure. The track, as you can see, it's no longer raining. It looks like it's drying up quite quickly. DRS was enabled ages ago, so that is very likely going to be dry all the way to the end. I am 90% sure that we'll see the front four at the very least go in for soft tires. Possibly as far down into 8th position. I think those guys are probably all going to go onto the soft tires. Ooh, a little bit of a struggle through there for Azure as he tries to get the car stopped. Red Bull 1-2, yes indeed, but investigations will be had after the race. Because yes, something has come to my attention that yes, yeah, it does look like it was something that may have happened. So going to be interesting to see what happens there. Italian Legend on those soft tires already. 9-lap old soft tires deciding not to go in. Destroyer also doesn't go in. Venom goes in. Warak goes in. Worm Puzzle is too far back. I don't think he's going to go in. I do believe it was. It's also the pit lane where Hamilton lost his first championship in his first season with McLaren. It's the one where he went into the gravel on the outside that is no longer there because he went into the gravel on the outside. So yes, the pit lane here has a lot of history, almost as much as the racetrack. So yeah, this is going to be interesting. So Azure has kept his first position, Italian Legend in second, but has 10-lap old soft tires. Destroyer 10-lap old medium tires. Corsair, Marsh, KK Mark Static, and Venom all on fresh soft tires. Warwick, Worm Puzzle, Santa on fresh-ish tires. Gokes. Surely not. I do not believe what my telemetry is telling me. Safety car in this lap, as I said, 1 lap behind the safety car. Gokes hasn't changed tires. So this Haas here is still on the tires from the original, from the start of the race. So he is pulling a Mick Schumacher and being left out there by Haas. And at some point he's going to have to come in, and I think it might be too late. Okay, right, so Azure leads the way down the straight. KQ Mark Static is in 6th at the moment. There is a Ferrari without a wing going through there. That is Dupiana without a wing on his Ferrari. That's going to be unfortunate for him. Azure has to choose his starting point at somewhere. Talon Legend basically coasting down here. He is going to struggle with those tires. On the restart. Destroyer as well is probably going to start struggle. Are we going yet? There we are. Okay, so Azure has now gone. Italian Legend has gotten a decent restart, as has Destroyer. Corsair in 4th place, now up into 3rd already. Looking at the inside, and has dropped back again. Marsh is up into 4th place. Gottlieb leaves the session. He is currently running in 13th. But yeah, Marsh looks like he is making his way through on Destroyer already. Corsair going around the outside with tons of extra grip. Does Destroyer leave him the space? He does indeed. KK Mark Static trying to follow through and does indeed follow through. Destroyer losing positions left, right, and center on those old medium tires. Now Marsh has Italian Legend ahead of him. Italian Legend on those 11-lap old soft tires. We have 2 laps left to go, including this one. This is the penultimate lap. We have Dupiana spinning through turn 6. That is not surprising with the front wing damage that he is carrying. It looks like Corsair is practically pushing Marsh through the corner. Marsh practically pushing Italian Legend. Will they try and make a move here? Corsair goes to the inside of Marsh, gets through before the corner and gets ahead. A little bit of a touch there, it looked like, between possibly Marsh and KK Mark Static. Marsh looked like he lost the rear end a little bit, and that has allowed KK Mark Static to get right on top of him. Goes to the inside, to the right hand side. Italian Legend has some massive pace down the straight, but it does look like Corsair has a little bit more speed down towards the end of the straight. Corsair takes 2nd place as we see KK Mark Static take the 4th place from Marsh as well. So we have a decent fight here. Corsair in second, Italian Legend in third, Zero getting the fastest lap of the race. Obviously, soft tires, and not a surprise there. And now the KK markers are getting through on Italian Legend. Those tires just not holding up, a little bit of contact there, and the KK markers that are being forced onto the grass manages to keep the car pointed in the right direction. And lucky that both of them got through that without losing the cars entirely. So KK Mark is now behind behind Corsair. We'll be trying to catch up. Marsh is right on the top of Italian Legend, and once again Italian Legend. Ooh, maybe a little bit of contact there, but the two of them get through fine. Marsh is now up into fourth position, and oh no, there we go. Okay, so Gox has unfortunately been disqualified for, as I said, just not using the correct tire compounds. Interesting that he's been disqualified. That's a little bit weird because we're on the final. Oh, right, we're on the final lap. Okay, cool. Yes, he was he was a lap down, I think, and so when he crossed the start-finish line this time, it will have disqualified him for not using the tire compound. That's really unfortunate for him. But yeah, showing that the medium tires could actually last all the way to the end of the race. So Corsair and the KK Marcus that are currently heading down the penultimate straight. Corsair getting through there. Keycracker moving up positions. I'll go check him as well. Marsh, and again, it almost, yeah, no, there's definitely going to be things looked at here. This was the final lap of the race. Corsair gets through, KK Mark Static in third, Marsh in fourth. Almost forgot that. Oh, right, I see what you mean. I was like, is he actually like getting through on people? I didn't see gaps anywhere, but no, it's because people are getting disqualified. So yeah, Azure out in front, Corsair in second, KQ Static in third position, Marsh in fourth, Italian Legend in fifth. Then we've got Warak, Destroyer, Venom, Worm Puzzle, Santa rather, in our top 10. Then we've got Jumping Jack, Gottlieb, who has grayed out. I think he left the session. Dupiana, Chicken Wing, and then Me Power top 15, and then Further Panda, Keycracker, Gokes, and Muchwind. Yes, a race was indeed what it was, and yeah, Azure just aliened out in front as usual. But yeah, great racing there. It was a lot of fun to watch. As I said, there are going to be some investigations launched after this session because yeah, a couple of things have been reported that yeah, they do need to be looked into. So yeah, unfortunate there that we are not going to be able to say for sure where people end up, but one of those things. So obviously incidents and so on, just that we can have a look at them. If anyone wants to appeal 3-second penalties or that sort of thing, we can at least see it. And yeah, Dupiana going onto those wet tires quite early on compared to what everyone else. In fact, that was very early on. That was a good 4 or 5 laps too early. So really unfortunate for him. But yeah, great race in general. KQ, I will chat to you afterwards. If you could save your race replay if you haven't already, that would be ideal. But yeah, thank you so much to everyone who joined us. It's been an absolute pleasure as usual to host you all. And yeah, we'll see how things go after this, and we'll see how things go next week when we head across to, just double check the calendar, Imola. So we will be heading across to Imola next week, and we'll see how things go there. Obviously a great racetrack, and we're looking forward to seeing how the drivers take it on. So thank you so much for joining us this evening. It's been an absolute pleasure as usual, and we'll see you next time.